In a major crackdown, the FBI has seized multiple websites that hosted pirated Nintendo Switch games, claiming these illicit downloads caused a whopping 170 million in losses in just 3 months. And in other big news, ASUS and Microsoft might have accidentally leaked the prices for their upcoming ROG Ally Xbox handhelds. And the prices tags are usually not as bad as expected. Welcome back to Better Gaming. The FBI's Atlanta field office announced on July 10th, 2025 that it shut down several high-traffic ROM sites as part of a major video game piracy operation. This included at least one well-known Switch ROM site, NSW2U, among others which had been providing free downloads of popular games, sometimes even days or weeks before release. According to the FBI statement, just in the 3 months from late February to late May this year, these sites saw over 3.2 million illicit game downloads, which the agency claims translates to about 170 million in losses for the game industry. Yeah, that's a huge number. Anyone trying to visit those domains now is greeted by a federal seizure banner. The FBI took control of domains like nsw2u.com, game2u.com, ps4pkg.com, and several others. They also dismantled the site's infrastructure and even thanked the Dutch authorities for assisting in this international investigation. Now, if you're part of the homebrew or emulation community, you probably have strong opinions on this. Many folks in that scene are skeptical of the FBI's 170 million figure, arguing that it's likely overinflated. After all, not every ROM download is a lost sale. Some downloaders wouldn't have bought the game anyway. I saw some comments basically saying, there are plenty of other sites and torrents still out there, so this crackdown changes nothing. One user bluntly called the FBI's move a smokescreen, suggesting there are bigger problems the feds could focus on instead of chasing game pirates. Another pointed out that claiming 170 million in damage is dubious, because companies probably didn't actually lose that much money. Pirates have many alternative ways to get games. This perspective is pretty common in the modding and ROM community, who see this as a bit of an overkill and maybe worry that homebrew enthusiasts could be unfairly targeted under the same umbrella. On the other hand, there's the perspective of the game industry and law enforcement. Some developers, publishers, and their fans are cheering this crackdown. Nintendo especially has a reputation for aggressively protecting its IP. In fact, one commenter said Nintendo is taking a scorched earth approach to ROM sites, and given how much money they believe was lost to piracy, they feel Nintendo's well within its rights here. From that view, that sites leaking games early and offering free downloads to millions of people can indeed hurt sales, especially for new releases, and stopping them helps protect the creators' livelihoods. We also saw Nintendo pursue legal actions against piracy in the past. Remember the Gary Bowser case where a Switch hacker was jailed and fined? So this FBI operation is part of a larger ongoing effort to curb game piracy. Overall, it's a pretty dramatic move by the FBI. It sends a clear message: even these long-running ROM hubs, some operated over 4 years, are not safe from the law. Will it actually stop people from pirating games? Probably not entirely. As we mentioned, the community often finds new sites or goes deeper underground. But it will make it harder, at least temporarily, for the average person to stumble into Switch game piracy. But we'll have to wait and see if this has any real impact on game sales or piracy rates. What's your take? Is the FBI wasting time going after ROM sites, or is this a necessary step to protect industry? Alright, on to our second big story, and this one is good news for anyone eyeing the next generation of handheld gaming PCs. You might recall that ASUS revealed last month that it's partnering with Microsoft to create an Xbox branded ROG Ally. Essentially, this is the first official collaboration between ASUS and Microsoft on a handheld console. Think of it as the ROG Ally 2, but with Xbox styling and deeper integration. They're calling them the ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Ally X for the high-end model. These new devices will have some design tweaks like contoured grips and impulse trigger haptics inspired by the Xbox controller, and of course beefed up internals compared to the current ROG Ally. The big question everyone's been asking is, how much will the Xbox Ally handheld cost? Well, it looks like we finally have a clue. Just a few hours ago, a report came out that ASUS accidentally leaked the prices on their own website via a Google search preview. According to a listing spotted by a Spanish outlet, the standard Xbox Ally was shown at €599 and the high-end Xbox Ally X at €899. That's roughly about $650 to $700 for the base model and $1,000+ for the X model when converted, though direct conversions aren't exact. The key point is those euro prices match the current ROG Ally price range pretty close. In Europe right now, the original ROG Ally models go for around 500 to 700 euros, depending on configuration, and the top-end 1TB version is about 900 euros. So ASUS isn't really hiking the price much, if at all, for these new Xbox branded versions, which is a bit of a pleasant surprise. There were rumors earlier that a fully decked out new Ally might cost well over $1,000, but this leak suggests pricing will stay in line with the existing models. Now let's talk specs briefly, because the ROG Ally X, the premium model, isn't just the old Ally with a new logo, it's packaging some serious upgrades. It will reportedly features AMD's new Ryzen Z2 Extreme APU with 8 CPU cores and beefier RDNA 3.5 graphics, plus a huge 24GB of LPDDR5X RAM, a 1TB SSD, and a larger 80 watts per hour battery. In comparison, the standard Xbox Ally will have a slightly cut down Ryzen Z2A chip, 60GB RAM, a 512GB SSD, and a 60 watts per hour battery. Both models are set to use the same 7-inch 1080p 120Hz screen as the original Ally and even include a new dedicated Xbox button on the front. Essentially, ASUS is making the Ally more Xbox-like, not just in branding, but in how it feels and plays. What's really cool is that these devices will run Windows 11, but are expected to boot directly into an Xbox-style dashboard interface for a console-like experience. That means when you power it on, you might see an Xbox Game Pass library or something console-friendly instead of the usual Windows desktop. Of course, it's still a PC underneath, so you can jump to the Windows desktop anytime and install Steam, Epic, emulators, mods, you name it. Microsoft has been testing an updated Xbox app on Windows that unifies game libraries from various launchers, and it sounds like the Xbox Ally will be a showcase device for that effort. In short, it's aiming to be the first true Xbox portable without actually being a closed console. You get the OP-ness of Windows with the convenience of a console's UI. As a homebrew fan, that's pretty exciting because it means you can likely run all your retro emulators on PC mods on this thing, while still enjoying an easy console-like menu for mainstream gaming. Now, when can we get our hands on it? Officially, ASUS and Microsoft haven't given a release date yet, but the same leak that gave us the prices also hinted at a timeline. Earlier rumors from June claimed the ROG Ally Xbox Edition would launch in October 2025 with pre-orders possibly starting as soon as August. Given that ASUS might announce something at Gamescom in late August, and that's a big gaming event in Germany, an October release window sounds plausible if everything stays on track. Nothing is 100% confirmed, even those leaked prices could technically be placeholders until an official reveal, but the fact that ASUS own sites briefly showed them lends a lot of credibility. So as of now, it looks like pricing will be similar to current ROG Ally lineup, which is great news for gamers' wallets. The base €599 model could be a very attractive entry point for people who want a more powerful handheld than the Switch or Steam Deck without breaking the bank, and the $899 Ally X will be for the enthusiasts who want the absolute top specs in a portable. The FBI is out here dropping the hammer on Switch piracy sites to mixed reactions, and ASUS might have just tipped its hand on the new Xbox ROG Ally's price. Are you surprised by the FBI's 170 million piracy claim, or by the fact they targeted ROM sites at all? And on the handheld front, does a €599 Xbox Ally sounds tempting to you as a Switch gamer, or are you waiting to see more? Let's chat in the comments. Personally, I'm glad to see more handheld competition, and I just hope crackdowns like this don't go overboard and affect legit homebrew communities. If you enjoyed this news roundup, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Better Gaming for more updates on Nintendo, Xbox and everything in between. Thanks for watching, don't forget to smile. My name is Yu. Peace.